Well, hello and welcome to the Confused Breakfast. Do you remember the pure joy of a trip to the video rental store as a kid?
Yeah.
It's hard to beat the ease of the modern era and streaming platforms where you don't even have to leave your couch. But there was something truly special about still living at home in your 20s, heading to Blockbuster to rent a movie that your 13-year-old best friend can watch with you. On this podcast, we revisit and dissect some of our favorite childhood movies from that magical era to see if they still move us the way they did as kids. My name is Mike Schulte. Joining me, as always, two dudes with fantastic ideas for a fantastic world, making the illogical logical. Sean Pryor and AJ Vance, how the heck are you?
Well, I had the idea to bring these beers in.
Oh, what are these beers? Three Ninjas beers?
Three Ninjas. Thank you, Chris, my brother, for mentioning that these exist. And thank you for Dimensional, Lua, and Wise Eye Brewco.
Wise Eye Brewco.
Thank you for making this.
It also should be noted that it's very high proof, so by the time this episode ends, it's going to get off the rails.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So just make sure you stick around to the end to see if we can make it home.
Yep. 100%.
gonna be
Cheers.
fun.
Wow.
Well, cheers there. Well, let me crack.
Oh, yep.
You do it.
Give me a hi-ya.
Hiya!
Well, boys, on today's episode, we discuss the fourth highest grossing film of the year, a movie that spawned a sequel, an animated series, video games, merchandise, not to mention that one of its characters was the inspiration for Furby, a multi-million-dollar profit stuffed animal. It's widely agreed this was one of two movies that forced the MPAA to create the PG-13 rating moving forward. This film was released on the same day as Ghostbusters. More of a Christmas movie than Die Hard. We're, of course, talking about 1984's Gremlins.
Well, damn it. Ladies and gentlemen,
It's like
it's
you knew I was
time
gonna say
for
that or
another
something.
nostalgic journey to the past with the
Notice you
Confused
guys have one of these shirts,
Breakfast.
too. You've never
Sit
worn them.
back, relax, and
I
enjoy
wear it when I sleep. I cut off
wherever
sleeves.
you are in the world. Take it away, boys.
Well, friends, this movie was actually chosen as a vote from our amazing Patreon members. Patreon.com/ConfusedBreakfast. If you want bonus audio episodes, if you want to support the show, if you want to vote on upcoming movies, go there. That's where you can do it. This movie got 43% of the vote. We put out Christmas movies. We said, hey, Christmas movies. Gremlins, almost half the vote. That was followed by Bad Santa at 22%, Love Actually at 12%, It's a Wonderful Life at 11%, Jack Frost 8%, and Santa Claus 2, a lowly 4%. I actually went out, we got 100 votes on this, so that means 4 people picked Santa Claus 2. I wanted to actually call them out by name because we see you, we appreciate you,
Yeah.
we understand the work you're putting in because it would have been a great episode, but guess people want to hear Gremlins. So
Come on.
Aaron Flores, Charles Forsythe, Alan Cline, Jacob Stahl, thank you for putting your time in, for picking the right movie. But
Hey, I see you guys.
I also
I see you.
I also want to point out that AJ, it's well known, is the Christmas man, and,
Yep.
and he loves this holiday. And so in this vote, we each picked 2 Christmas movies. AJ's 2 picked Christmas movies were the lowest voted Christmas movies.
Yes.
So it seems like he's not in touch with Christmas, even though he loves it so much.
If I
So
could crack this again, I would.
You son of a- You know what?
Sean,
Screw
hey,
you
Sean,
guys.
it's Christmas movie time. Let's
God
talk about this
dang
movie.
it.
You know how much I love Christmas, Mike? Let me tell you.
Well, listen,
Sharks.
if you are new to the podcast, we're going to be reviewing Gremlins scene by scene with a modern eye. But in order to do it properly, we got to talk about it with pure nostalgia. Christmas boy, AJ, what was your first thoughts on this movie? What did you think about it the first time you saw it? Maybe a nostalgic rating.
Maybe you'll get a nostalgic rating. I think I'm just going to talk for like about an hour and a half about my feelings. Not necessarily on the movie, just in general. No, this movie. Do you hear what I hear? That's all I think about whenever I see Gremlins. This movie was shown to me by family. I'm pretty sure, probably like my mom and then like one of my brothers and stuff. We were gonna watch this movie. Oh, it's kind of a Christmas movie, and like, oh, it's fun, you know. And then I just remember being like basically just terrorized by this movie.
Of course.
I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. Why are they doing that to the little friend, the little furry guy? He's so nice and cute. Oh, You know what they should rename this movie? Irresponsible parent gives irresponsible son irresponsible gift, and then irresponsible dad leaves again, and irresponsible hell breaks loose.
And then irresponsible parents makes son watch said movie.
Said movie. Yes. And that's what this movie should be called. Wasn't necessarily a big fan of it, guys. I'm gonna give it a 3.8.
3.8. Sean, what about you? First time you saw it?
Oh yeah, watch this movie. This is one of the go-to Christmas for me.
Currently,
yes,
or always has been.
Always has been.
Oh, fuck yes.
Yeah. This is just like a enjoyable kind of cute Amblin entertainment kind of movie, and I'm a sucker for those. And Joe Dante, man, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Joe Dante and love most of what he does. Back then, I liked it. I'm going to give it a 6.2.
6.2 for Sean. Guys, we got a really big problem on our hands. 3 in a row, 5 out of the last 7. I have not seen.
Whoa, dude.
What is going on?
I don't know. We have this issue with 80s movies where this came out in 84. I was born in 82, so I'm too young to watch it. But then by the time I get old enough to watch it, I don't want to. It's like
Yeah.
it's
I totally get that.
It's an
that
issue
checks
for me.
out.
I do know that I did see like Gremlins 2, I think. Because I thought going into this, I'm like, okay, I do kind of remember it. Didn't remember anything about this movie. For anybody keeping track at home, of all the movies we've done, 35 of them I've not seen.
35.
AJ's 25, Sean is 22. So I'm having a problem here. I'm pulling away from you guys. So I'm a big NA, but we do got to go to executive producer Starling. He said this movie was a watershed moment for me as a 9-year-old. It was hyped beyond belief. So much that my dad, a country boy who loved Westerns, hated rom-coms, and had probably watched Death Wish 100 times, did something unprecedented. He packed up my mom, my sister, and me, and we went to the movies for the first time ever. I can still picture myself in the theater that day. My parents sat behind me, and my sister sat right next to me. When the movie ended, I'm pretty sure I cried, heartbroken that Billy might never see Gizmo again. I even started giving my own little movie review, analyzing plot points like some tiny Roger Ebert. Then came my dad's declarative statement, I will never take you to the movies again. Why? Because my sister spent the entire film running back and forth between my parents and me, talking nonstop. That was enough to break my father. He hasn't set foot in a theater since.
Jeez.
Luckily, I had aunts and uncles who stepped in to take me until I could drive myself. But this movie was everything to a 9-year-old me, a solid 10 out of 10.
Wow.
At that moment, I couldn't imagine ever loving a movie any more than that. So as a group, we're going to be a 6.66.
Forget
Devils,
it.
fuck yeah,
Out
Devils.
of here.
Yeah,
Which is-
Mogwai, dude. Forget it.
Which, interestingly enough, the last time a movie nostalgically was rated a 6.6 by 6 by 6 by 6 by us was Beetlejuice in the 90th position. So
We're pretty good at this.
we're fucking good at this.
I mean,
Damn. It.
that's it from
So
me.
let's take the nostalgia and let's throw it out the goddamn window. And let's go into modern day stuff. We got to learn more about the important details in the movie. Sean, what do you got, man?
Produced by Michael Fennell, Frank Marshall, Kathleen Kennedy, and Steven Spielberg. Written by Chris Columbus. Music by Jerry Goldsmith. Edited by Tina Hirsch. Cinematography by John Hora. He did The Howling, Twilight Zone movie, Gremlins 2, Matinee, and Explorers. Big Joe Dante supporter.
You love the Dons, dude.
Yeah, directed by the man himself, Joe Dante. Cast: Zach Galligan, Hoyt Axton, John Louie, Luke, Scott Brady, Corey Feldman, Harry Carey Jr., Phoebe Cates, Belinda Balaski, Polly Holiday, Judge Reinhold, Glenn Turman, Jonathan Banks, and the voices of the real Don Steele and Howie Mandel. Writer Chris Columbus lived in a loft in Manhattan that was infested by rats, and he had a fear of them crawling on him and nibbling on his fingers at night.
Great.
Columbus also recalled an anecdote from his father and how he would call problems with various things like car problems or a problem with a furnace that those damn gremlins were in there messing things up again. Those two factors combined with Columbus going to various shops in Chinatown and seeing all the weird things they were selling gave the writer the idea for a film he was going to write. Taking those ideas and setting them in a small town, he needed a name to call his little creatures, so he looked up the word devil in a Chinese to English dictionary, which translated to Mogwai.
Mogwai. I knew that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Isn't that a band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not very good.
Cool.
Actually, I don't know that.
Oh, we'll look him up.
Big fans out there. After completing the script, he sent to his agent.
Not big fans here. Big fans out there.
There are big fans out there.
No, they exist.
I feel like they're successful if I've heard of them. After completing the script, he sent it to his agent, which they sent to various producers around Hollywood, not really gaining any traction until about 8 weeks later. Columbus's roommate said that there was someone on the phone for him, and their name was Steven Spielberg. Not believing it, Columbus answered with a sense of, okay, who is this really? Spielberg spoke and said, no, this is really Steven Spielberg, and I want to meet with you and go over your script. The two met, and for what was originally a hard R horror film that comprised of a bunch of Mogwai tearing up a small town in gory fashion, Spielberg recommended that it be toned down a bit and added his own Spielberg heartstring tugging touch to it, and add that there be one central Mogwai that's not evil, and so Gizmo was born.
Didn't they say originally Gizmo was going to turn
Yes.
and be the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a great choice.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's so Spielberg.
Of course.
It's E.T.
It's the right move for this.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going to be successful. It's probably going to be going something like this. Amblin, being the producing trio of Frank Marshall, Kathleen Kennedy, and Spielberg, was just that, a producing team, which meant Spielberg went looking for a director for the project. Being a fan of films like The Howling and Piranha, Spielberg wanted to hire Joe Dante to helm the picture. Dante thought the content of the film suited him perfectly, loving the satirical nature of the story, subverting the "It's a Wonderful Life" like whimsy and the chaotic, horrific elements of B horror films. Spielberg suggested that these types of movies do well because of their casting. These films cast relatively unknown, so the audience isn't distracted by a big star. They can invest into the story instead. Zach Galligan was cast based off his strength in his audition and chemistry test with Phoebe Cates. In between tests, Galligan had just rested his head on Cates' shoulder because he was nervous, and she was so confident in her audition. The filmmakers saw that and said, "Damn, he's already in love with her. We have to cast him." Chris Wallace was brought in to do the effects for the Gremlins, having worked with Amblin in the past and being known for great puppet work. Wallace, I'm going to say, would have numerous different puppets to play with, both Gizmo and the evil Gremlins, and would be efficient having interchangeable faceplates for the many different reactions of Gizmo. Howie Mandel was cast to portray the voice of Gizmo. Mandel would do voices in his act, but never wanted to do voiceover work in movies per se. Having just looked at the puppet Mandel, just thought that might be what his like cute little. He looked at Gizmo. He's like, that. It's probably what this thing sounds like. It's just, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
He just came up with it on the spot just by looking at it. Gremlins was shot in L.A. on a sound studio backlot, vacating for the titular fake town. But being as this was set at a snowy Christmas, the production had to put white sand down pretty much everywhere to make it look like the snow on the streets. And on close-ups, they had huge ice trucks that would shave the ice blocks down to look like snow. Gremlins was released on June 8th, 1984, and on a budget of $11 million. The film made $212.9 million at the box office, spawned a crazy fucking sequel, and is a fixture for holiday viewing for most people, including horror fans alike.
Thanks, Sean. Up next, we got to go to AJ. He did the research. He found out what the critics and the fans had to say about this movie. What do you say?
What do you say?
Well, I'd like to offer you all a token of my esteem, whether or not it makes up for all this damage. It's the tomato meter.
Gross.
Far from it. 86% certified fresh.
Damn.
Listen to this. Of all the movies we've done, 86 ties it in the 70th spot with Tremors, and that feels so nice.
Love that.
That feels
Puppet movie.
fucking great.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's our favorite brand new popcorn meter. You know what it is. 78%.
Thank you for bringing this in, Brian. 2 weeks in a row now.
2 weeks in a row. Popcorn in the studio.
It's delicious. And stuck in my teeth now. 78% from the popcorn meter. It's a 7.3 on IMDb.
Listen to this. 7.3 ties it with Men in Black, but also should be noted slightly lower than Nightmare on Elm Street. That's how it's fitting in there of all the movies we've done.
Okay.
Yep, just throwing it out there.
Well, fine.
I think I say that every week. Just throwing it out there.
Just throwing it out there.
As if I've never done this
Well, you
before.
are just throwing it out there.
I'm just knowledge. People like to hear that.
Look, we're just spitting facts.
Listen, Nebraska, where the N stands for knowledge, okay?
That's right. We should make sure of that.
You lost me there.
It's a sports reference.
That's why I'm lost.
100 out of 100. Caroline Westbrook over at Empire said a delightfully offbeat reminder of how inventive and witty blockbusters seemed when you were a kid. That's it. We've got
Fantastic.
We've got 91 David Starrett, Christian Science Monitor, out there monitoring all things science and Christian. In many ways,
So just like you're throwing stuff out there, he's just out there with a pad and pencil, just like monitoring stuff.
He's in the bushes. Pretty good.
Just throwing it out there.
No mention of Jesus.
he's in the theater with the hat with the little card in it that says
Press. Monitor.
No, it just says monitor.
it says monitor.
We're never going to find out what that really means, and I'm so happy.
No, I don't want
so
to.
happy.
The mystery's fun.
In many ways, Gremlins is ingenious. Gizmo yanks at your heartstrings with both furry fists, then sits out a few scenes while suspense builds, then plunges back with more vim than ever. I don't know what vim is. The small town setting, right out of a gushy Frank Capra movie, manages to be timeless, nostalgic, and slightly ridiculous all at once. Thanks. I wanted to find somebody who was like, nah, dog. And that one is Vincent Canby. He'll be able to do that for us. New York Times, 50 out of 100. Gremlins is far more interested in showing off its knowledge of movie lore and making random jokes than in providing consistent entertainment. Unfortunately, it's funniest when being most nasty. That sounds like that one came more from like Christian Science Monitor, but I'm just going to put that. It's fine.
Vim means energy and or enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm.
And in Chinese, it's a symbol I can't tell you what it means.
Yeah.
Enthusiasms. That's what it means. Here, how about this? 7 out of 10. This is Stimpy _TR in 2021. Missed opportunity. I remember when I was a child, we used to watch this movie quite often and were chilled by some of the scenes. Today, many years later, I gave it a go. I found the morphed gremlins really creepy. The visual effects are so fun for the time. However, the cast is terrible. They're all dull and uninteresting except the Chinese man, who appears for only a few minutes. During the movie, I kept asking myself what the target audience was, and I couldn't find an answer. Normally, it was supposed to be children or all audiences. For such a movie, a more talented and lively lead character like Michael J. Fox should have been chosen. He could have turned this into a classic. Nobody found that helpful, by the way. Even though I felt it was a decent review and like an honest one, nobody found that helpful.
Nah.
How about excellent Christmas horror comedy movie from the year 1984, says Rebecca J. Clark. This is a 10 out of 10. I find Gremlins 1984 is a very excellent horror comedy movie because the main protagonist, Billy, is very likable. Gizmo, the cute and adorable Mogwai, is very likable. Billy's pet dog, Barney, is very heroic and likable. Billy's love interest, Kate, has a tragic backstory, and I feel sorry for her. The main antagonist...
not likable, though? Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, come on. The main antagonist of this movie is Stripe because of his chaotic nature. But he is enjoyable compared to the most hateable character of the festive movie. The most hateable character of the festive movie is Mrs. Ruby Deagle because of her cruel attitude and the lack of sympathetic qualities. But
what a hot take, dude.
I know.
Yeah.
Dude.
Scathing.
Fuck.
Fuck, dude. This guy's writing straight fire, dude. I didn't even think about this.
Dude, I didn't even catch that from this movie.
I watched this movie 10 times, didn't even catch
Dude.
that.
But she finally got her comeuppance. That made me laugh.
Then I was happy.
Oh my god. It also has interesting cameos from Steven Spielberg to Chuck Jones. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10 and Merry Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
That's nice.
3 out of 4 people found that helpful.
One guy's like, fuck you.
Unhelpful.
That was not helpful. This guy's spoiling it for me. Last one, guys. 1 out of 10. How does this exist? Said Kool-Aid Bro. 2021. I saw this when I was little and it made me angry. It made me angry then because you can't feed them after midnight. It's always after midnight, so you can never feed them. Now I'm watching it years later, and if they get wet, they multiply. These things are running in snow, drinking beer. Then I got to thinking, their own saliva, tear ducts, blood, etc. all would get them wet. What was everyone on when they made this? Every character is an idiot. The big stocking hanging in front of the fireplace. Fire hazard? It has a toy robot in the stocking. I assume is for their adult son. There is a laundry list of issues with it, but that would take so much time. So I'm gonna stop now. And he did.
Yeah.
You don't make sense, man. You don't fucking make sense.
Fuck you.
You don't fucking make sense, bro. Guys, we did have somebody jump in on the Little Urban Achievers.
Pretty much the coolest place to be in the entire
The
face
little
of this earth.
Lebowski urban.
The little urban achievers. What did you say?
It's a very important
What did he
word
say?
to
The
include.
little urban achievers. Yeah. No, see, it's a movie reference to Big Lebowski. So when they call in the like Big Lebowski.
Oh wow, they do charity work.
Unnecessary means to. Unnecessary means to.
Necessary means to. Necessary means to. You can learn more at patreon.com/confusedbreakfast. If you want your review of a movie read on air in your name, you let us know.
Oh man, please do it. Jarrett Layoff, the Crown King. It says,
Crown King.
I've been waiting for this movie since you guys did The Burbs. Looking back at all of Joe Dante's movies, I'm finding that my mom was a big fan and it turned me into one as well. The Burbs, Explorers, Small Soldiers, both Gremlins and Gremlins 2 were staples growing up. That being said, I remember being mildly scared of Gremlins since it wasn't as ridiculous and fanciful as the new batch. Gremlins is and always will be my favorite Christmas movie. Come on, man.
Wow.
Let's go, buddy. I'm with you, dog.
That being said, shut up. That being said, it's not just a Christmas movie. Everything about this movie is incredible. The story, the score, and the puppetry provides a finished product that can rival almost anything. Yep. Fucking hazy IPAs. Anything you put up against it. The bar scene alone should solidify that. Obviously, Phoebe Cates plays a huge part in me loving this movie.
Yep.
Not only because it's Phoebe Cates, but her morbid dialogue and outlook on life just drew me in even more. Mm-hmm. Nostalgic 7.1, modern day 8.7.
Well, listen, boys, before we dissect Gremlins scene by scene with the modern eye, it's holiday season. You're inevitably going to be getting together with family that you haven't seen in a long time, and there is now a 100% chance that one of your relatives is going to corner you and tell you they started a podcast. Mm-hmm. As podcasters here, we feel it's our duty to give you the 3 rules for dealing with this relative. First of all, don't lie and tell them that you listen on Apple Podcasts. It's likely that this person's only streaming on Spotify. We have no clue why they do this, but they do a lot.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It's
weird.
Secondly, don't hand him any brand name products, not even alcohol. He will inevitably say, hey, this product is sponsored by podcast, and then wait for you to agree. You won't have the heart to tell him that it will never happen and it's not a funny joke. But the most important rule, the rule you can never forget, no matter how much he cries, no matter how much he begs, don't let him buy a Rodecaster Pro.
Or she.
Or no, it's a dude.
Okay.
No, this guy's a dude. It's a white male. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
I just really enjoy this.
PC culture.
We have to do
Hey,
it.
stop making it political, man. Just
Anyway, don't let him buy a Rodecaster Pro. He will use all the built-in board sound effects way too much during the episodes, and you will not enjoy listening. So there's our 3 rules. Happy holidays. Here we go.
Have fun.
yeah, enjoy.
Really just have fun, okay? Scene 1. Rand Peltzer, an inventor, is in New York looking for a Christmas present for his son, Billy. He becomes interested in a little furry creature at an ancient Chinese store. The elderly proprietor refused to sell the creature, but the young boy sells it to him and gives him 3 rules to his survival. We meet Rand, son Billy, as he goes to his job at the bank with his dog Barney in tow. A mean old woman named Mrs. Deagle is attacked by Barney, and Billy almost loses his job.
Oh, no. I love how this movie starts out like a noir. I think it's really fun.
Yeah.
It's actually, yeah.
He's like his voiceover. He's like, that's me on the corner.
Yeah.
That's me in the spotlight.
That's me in the
That's
spotlight.
me in the spotlight.
I think this is like the second time we've referenced losing my religion in like 3 or 4
This
weeks.
is
Aren't we all at this point?
I've been spending so much time in China losing my religion.
Yeah. Even though he's not in China. He's in
Hong Kong?
Do we establish what town this is? It's
I
just
think
like
it's a Chinatown of somewhere.
but we never actually say where it's at.
Right.
We're assuming it's maybe New York,
Could be Hong Kong.
They're in like a small
San
town.
Francisco. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're in a small town,
Yeah.
but him going to the store, walking the streets, this is a big city somewhere.
Okay.
With a
Yeah.
Chinatown.
I think
okay.
so.
I thought he
It
was
has
actually
to
like
be.
somewhere in Asia.
No, I'm assuming he's somewhere just where there's a Chinatown.
All right. Well, I liked it the other way around. That's fine.
You can go there if you want.
You can't have that.
And the
AJ.
look of this Chinatown is immaculate. It's
great.
in my opinion. I think it's like the red,
That's
like
why I believed it.
neon lighting and everything. I don't know. It just the set of this looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Keve Luke
Go ahead.
is the man that plays the shop owner.
Mm-hmm.
He was 79 years old, and they had to actually make him look older
Jeez.
because of just how good in good physical condition his skin was perfect. They had to make him look older at age 79 to play the role he did.
They're sitting there like, God, this no makeup is working. How do we make him just like look weirder and
He's
older?
supposed to be weird and old.
Put one single weird color contact in.
Nailed
I mean, a
it.
There we
contact
go.
lens for this guy.
That'll distract the audiences enough. That'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
I like when he's like, hey, you got a lot of cool stuff in this store. It's like, really cool. You guys do well for yourself. That's awesome. There's one thing you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, what's that? Well, let me show you. He, like opens his long coat.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, no.
No, not that.
Whoa. It would have been a different movie.
Whoa.
This guy goes in everywhere to pitch these. There's not a place that he doesn't stop.
The
that
bathroom buddy?
that he's not pitching these. It's great.
Do you like the idea of the bathroom buddy?
I like the idea, but I don't like the form or the shape or really the idea of it.
He's so you don't like the bathroom buddy?
You know.
I never listen. I haven't ever traveled with any of these things. A shaving mirror. Anywhere I go has a mirror.
A mouth mirror.
A dental mirror.
Those are
That's
important.
what I mean.
Yeah.
Those are important.
Toenail clippers and nail clippers. Have you ever needed to be gone long enough to where your toenails and your fingernails need to be clipped?
I just need them on hand regularly because I'm just a picker.
Oh, so you're saying
That's
some
my
people
anxiety, not my
actually
bathroom
like
regimen.
If we're gonna leave tomorrow to go to LA for 3 days, are you bringing nail clippers with you?
Yeah.
What a fucking weird. Are you?
Hey, but like,
Are you?
I'm like, does anybody happen to have nail clippers? I'll be like, wow, AJ,
But then
that's really fucking weird.
But here's where there's some validity to Mike's thing. If I said, "Oh yeah, here you go," and I hand you the bathroom buddy, you're like, "I'm good."
I'll find something else.
But
Yeah,
if you,
I'll
bite 'em
if
off.
you hand actual nail clippers, yeah, okay, cool.
You're like, "Well, fine."
Fine.
I mean, like, it should be like, okay, say you're going to an important business meeting, okay? And then he pulls out a bathroom buddy, but it's like, in this little pouch here, a little shot of Jack Daniels. Like, that's what it should be, you know?
That
See?
makes a lot
That
more
is
sense.
a bathroom buddy, because that's how I wake up.
Yep. See, it's
Revelations.
see, yeah.
I'm constantly
See?
drunk.
And here you go. Here you've got a full stock of proper lotion for your bathroom buddy, and this is the tissue compartment over here. It's just like, what are you handing me here, guy? And why are you handing me yours? I don't want this.
I also feel like it's one of those things you can get at Cracker Barrel that also makes a train engine sound.
Oh yeah.
Like it's,
Oh, yeah.
like also, just in case.
It's got it all.
This guy sucks as an inventor, right? I mean, is that kind of the joke of this? Like, is this his career, or are we to believe
That's
what he
that?
says.
Are we to believe that he was like in a position, he worked for a company, and maybe he got laid off, so now he's like going into his hobby phase? Where
I think he got, like, him and 3 other people invented something that was, like, mildly successful.
He's got some residuals coming in from
Yeah.
this. Like he got bought out of this, but he's got
Yes.
some residuals coming.
but they're starting to dwindle.
Yeah.
He's getting a little worried at this point.
Yeah,
That-
he's got to
that-
go to random Chinatowns to look for some customers.
he says, fine, I'll go out on my own and invent the next big thing. Meanwhile, 7 years later, he's done nothing with his life except make a bunch of like bad appliances that should be on like secondary QVC.
Yes.
You know? And now he's peddling them in places that just whoever will listen. He's on this trip right now to justify just like he's saying he's on a business trip. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to pitch to like Walmart. And I'm going to go pitch to Kmart and like Big Lots." And that's what he tells his wife, and he's in the back alley of Chinatown.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to make the meme where it's the Shark Tank crew and then just him. It's going to happen.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
And then somehow Randy Jackson pulls up, and it's just that's gonna be a no for me, dog.
We're crossing 3 universes together. I
That
love
one's
it.
going to do well.
That one's gonna do well. The minute you think it's gonna do well, it's not.
No,
I mean,
exactly.
that's usually how social media goes.
It's not gonna do well. It's not gonna do well.
No, exactly. I hate it. I hate everything about it.
So-
The Mogwai, they finally, you see him, I
Yeah.
guess, or you hear him mostly. Just the theme of the Mogwai is automatically cute to me
Yeah.
and adorable.
Reminds me
I'm
of
looking
Zelda.
I'm looking at your guys' eyes, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to defend this till I die, aren't I?
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
It reminds me of Zelda, like the intro
Ocarina of
music.
Time?
Yeah, like the loading screen,
Cool.
the home screen. Yeah.
So I love it.
Okay. No, actually, no. It's the only thing I can attach to because I'm just like, why is it making this noise? Because I don't care. Sorry,
Why don't you care?
I don't care because we're in this weird basement under a fishmonger,
Pretty sweet.
and like, yes,
Mystical.
I would want to go there, but not for the bathroom buddy. And I don't want to know. Like, this is again. This guy is the most irresponsible human being known. Like he's certainly lied about this business trip. We have to assume he's just wandering the back alleys, and maybe he is a PI. At this point, that's a better cover. Or that's a better story than him being an inventor. Okay, he's down in this thing, and then he doesn't not only does he not sell any of these, but he spends money to buy something that he shouldn't have.
Dude, you say he's the most irresponsible? This fucking kid is the most irresponsible.
He's looking out for his family.
No, he's not. He goes around his fucking grandpa, who's the most wise person known to man, and such a great grandpa. He probably could teach him karate if he wanted to know, and like he could join 3 ninjas or something. But like, then he goes, here, my grandpa said no way, but I'll give them to you. Here's the 3 rules. I refuse to tell you what happens if these rules are broken.
He is very much in the school of, oh, by the way. Here's the 3 most important rules.
But nothing really bad happens if you break them. Like, it's probably okay.
It's just like, oh man, it's like how not to take care of a child. You know what I mean? It's like, don't get it wet, so don't bathe it.
No.
It's like, don't give it food anytime.
Especially.
It's like, well, it bathes itself. It just licks itself like a cow. It's like, well, isn't saliva?
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. No, you're going too far.
No. And by the way, don't give it any sunlight. Vitamin D will just kill this thing. We don't want that. This is the worst thing ever.
There are a lot of people out there that don't like this, and they'll focus on this like no water. It's like, well, but the atmosphere's water. It's a science moment.
It's a snow. There's snow all over the place.
What if it's humid
There's
out?
water in beer.
There's steam coming out of every orifice of Chinatown.
Hope he doesn't go to Florida. Like,
Well, but you have, like, there are people that will focus on that, but you have to suspend your disbelief on this, especially because when you learn that a couple of the reasons of this is like they said the no brights light rule came from Joe Dante, essentially because they wanted to they didn't want to show off how bad maybe the puppets were. And it's genius because it is usually low light, they look amazing. Mm-hmm. But if this would be like super bright, lights, you're going to be like,
Think of The Thing where, if we hadn't done that episode or watched that movie for the show, like maybe someone wouldn't have like renewed their love for it. Think if you saw like those creatures in just bright sunlight, perhaps, unanimated, you know?
You're right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's Christmas season, so it's our show.
Yeah.
Christmas vacation.
Okay, so Christmas, we get Rockin' Ricky Rialto, dude.
Yeah.
What song is that? The snow's coming down. We get the classic song.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
The snow coming down. It's something.
Aren't you in the mood now? Like,
I am.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, thank God. We're like, there's snow and we're in a town that
cool, right?
Probably celebrates Christmas just fine, and like it's great.
The
Hooray.
kid fucking takes a snowball and fucking spikes it on top of that girl's head.
Decks that kid. He's like, I really like her.
you know Joe Dante. Yeah, exactly. It's like that's how you got girls back then.
Yeah.
Joe Dante gave him the direction. It's like just put a snowball like on her head or something and run away, and she's gonna come get you. He's like, okay.
Yeah, dude. Spikes that thing like DDP.
She goes to the hospital. He gets fired. They're like, well, we have to use it.
It's a great take. It really worked.
She has a concussion. Yeah, it's bad. No, like we're just in the holiday spirit. You know what? I'm in. That's fine. Let's go.
You get Dick Miller.
We get a little bit of Dick Miller. Dick Mills. He's great. I love him in this.
He's great.
I think he plays this character phenomenally. And he's just American made all the way.
Yeah.
All the way. See that? Kentucky Harvester. It never breaks down.
Yeah. Never breaks down. Yeah, it's foreign cars.
These foreign cars.
Pieces of shit. I mean,
foreign parts, foreign cars, foreign women. What's going on?
They all break down.
What are you talking about, sir? Have you been drinking again?
My wife's dead.
Yeah. Okay. Well, say hi to her.
If we were on a train to go punch a face, I'm on board.
Might as well just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
There maybe has not been probably a unanimous decision this most by our audience on A Punchable Face as maybe this movie. It's Mrs. Deagle, right?
It's got to be.
It's a little too over the top for me in this movie of how shitty this character is.
Dude, the good morning, Mrs. Deagle.
Good morning.
What's good about it? Oh,
Yeah.
his reaction is so good. I fucking love it. Oh,
It's a
morning,
little
Mrs. Deagle.
it's a little
It's
too
bad.
like Cruella DeVille for me that she's this shitty.
And I'm concurring with
Yeah.
your punchable face. She was also another punchable face of mine
She was?
before in our
What?
podcast.
You punched her twice?
Mrs. Doubtfire. She's the bitch who called the mom when they were having a party. She's like the neighbor.
What?
Yeah,
Oh.
and Mrs. Doubtfire.
So she just sucks.
Yep.
Oh yeah, she has no fun.
Oh my god, it's the same person.
Oh yeah.
Mrs. Deagle definitely survived this.
There's a couple people. There's a couple through lines of characters in this movie, but we'll get to this.
Heck yes.
I did want to point out there was a really cool fact I found that Mrs. Deagle, being the richest lady in town,
But
she
Belinda Belasky is her name.
Belinda Blasky sounds like a punchable name.
Oh, that's
Bill
the
Brasky.
worst name. In the
Belinda Blasky.
Yeah.
Bill Brasky.
Bill Brasky.
Being the richest lady in town, Mrs. Deagle named her cats after different kinds of currency. Her cats' names were Kopeck, Ruble, Peso, Drachma, and Dollar Bill.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, fuck that bitch.
I mean, like good
amazing.
detail for
Yeah.
the movie, but like, yeah, fuck
but also,
that.
fuck you.
That makes me want to get on a train and
Yeah.
punch your face.
Just-
Maybe
And I
as
wish I
if we had
shirt
a
of that.
T-shirt that was like really
You know-
cool of like a train with a fist on it. Maybe
I know.
you could see it at confusedbreakfast.com.
somewhere.
Face Punch Express, baby.
Yeah.
Just right to the kisser.
Just throwing it out there.
I would love that on like right here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Maybe in black, like black shirt, cool logo.
I would like
saying.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Uh-huh.
black. Black slimming. Phoebe Cates. Good fucking God.
Can I just go on record and say that it's probably good. We've done 2 movies now with Phoebe Cates. It was
What was the other one?
Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which I had also not seen, and this one, which I've not seen. And it's probably a good idea that I had not seen any of these movies because I would be so madly in love as a child with Phoebe Cates
Yeah.
if I saw her in any of these movies.
And she just keeps talking. I keep falling deeper and deeper in love with her.
Talking about just the absolute darkness and awfulness of Christmas. And
We'll
how
get,
So
we'll
you-
get there.
so you hate her.
We'll get there.
Can we at least go on record that you hate her in this movie?
well, I'm not a fan of her. All right. Hate's a strong word, Michael, but it's Christmas season.
Sean was just waiting,
Season.
like, tell me how much you love Halloween instead of Christmas. Just say it. Just say it.
And you know what? I don't even care if you like any holiday. I don't care if you like anything, to be honest.
Okay.
I like just all nothing.
It's all right. I'll enjoy the void with you.
Yes.
Yeah, you got Phoebe Cates. I mean, she's hard not to like. You know, she's really hard not to like in most of any of her roles.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
She's amazing.
Yeah. And like all their interactions and stuff. You know, it does. It's obviously very endearing.
They do have a really good chemistry, I think, as well.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
do you think about what's his name?
Billy?
Billy,
Galligan,
Billy,
Zach
Billy
Galligan.
boy.
Zach Galifianakis?
Yeah.
He's pretty good. I like that he's unknown. Sort of like we talked about last week with Black Hawk Down. It might have been a little troublesome if this was like Robert Downey Jr. or
Yeah.
something like that. It might have felt weird that I had this long-term connection with this guy.
Even someone said Michael J. Fox. I'm
Michael
like,
J.
yeah,
Fox,
but it would
yeah.
just be a Michael J. Fox movie.
Yes.
Correct.
That's what it would be.
This isn't about Billy, really. I
Right.
don't think this movie is.
Right.
So he just needs to be a guy that can carry it. And I think he does.
I think so.
He does a good job, but it's not a thing where you're like, oh man, like
Yeah.
he was the star.
He
of the movie.
carries this movie.
No.
Yeah, no, he just needs to be serviceable, and I think he is.
He's overwhelmingly whelming.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
That's a great way to put it.
In this movie, dude.
You ever just be whelmed?
Does that mean
yeah,
underwhelming?
you
I
can.
think you can in Europe.
Or just whelming? He's just whelming.
Oh, no. Overwhelmingly whelming. Like,
So does that
he is so whelming.
that he's overwhelming?
Incredibly normal. Like, that I'm like, God, I can't stop thinking about it.
You can't take how much he is whelming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you overwhelmed at how whelming he is?
He's not even upset about his car not like starting. He's just like, I'll walk. It's like, But that's
It's
the
2 blocks anyway.
definition.
You know what? I don't even know why I drive.
You know what? I may give this to charity.
I live with my parents.
It's like, God, I'm so whelmed right now.
No, it's
by
a
you.
Hallmark character.
It's like, of course, your dog is just walking with no leash.
It's a
with
Hallmark
you.
character.
It is.
It is.
You
It
nailed
really
it.
is. And like, I think this movie's playing on that. To be
Even
honest.
his clothes are just like, man, that's basic. like down to his haircut. Like, I can't tell if it's parted or if it's just a helmet.
He's so
But-
whelming. He doesn't even look at the Burger King.
No,
And be like,
he doesn't even need to stop for some French toast sticks. Like, he'd rather save his money, and that's whelming to me. And so, so it's not even contemplated.
Let's at least throw it out there for the obvious. I mean, this is Hill Valley. This is taking place in Hill Valley.
Yeah.
For those that don't recognize it, it's just like it's overwhelming of how this is Hill Valley and how this is the same lot they filmed it on.
yeah.
It's pretty awesome to see it.
When he walks by the Burger King,
Yes.
that's the square.
Yes.
Like the Green Square
He's
Park
in,
or whatever.
Yeah, he's in there. You can see the courthouse to the right on that first shot. It's just pretty cool. You see the theater in the background, the same street the DeLorean went down. It makes me really excited because
Did you
When
see
was
the
Back to the
tire
Future?
marks? Did you see
No,
the
no.
tire
Really?
marks
No.
from the DeLorean?
no.
Yeah, dude.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, there's several nods to a bunch of things.
No. Back to the Future was 1985. This is 1984. You get out of here, bro.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was-
It came back in time.
Retrospect.
Oh, shit.
You fucking idiot, dude.
And of course,
Where's the camera? Where's the camera?
and of
Clip
course,
that.
the other connection you got to talk about Frances Lee McCain. This is her 4th movie she's been in with us. The mom.
Okay.
Frances Lee McCain is the mom. She's Lorraine's mom in the past and Back to the Future.
Oh,
1.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah,
Marty.
Marty. I don't know,
I
Marty.
don't know, Marty. I feel like you're our responsibility.
That and she was also the mom in Stand By Me and the mom in Scream. She's just maybe an underrated mom performer that we haven't talked about enough.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That is
And
definitely true, Ned.
We'll get to it. I think she has the best scene in this movie.
Oh, we'll
Hold
get
the
to it.
thought on that.
We
You
will
are
get
so
to it.
correct.
One more thing I was going to say. Oh, no, about the setting. Is that Joe Dante wanted this to be like they were like, oh, we'll go shoot on location like Michigan or something, when it's snowy out. He's like, I want it to be like an over-the-top
Yeah.
kind of Hollywood production.
Cool.
I want it to be that thing, and like we'll spend the money to put fucking white sand on the streets. Like you can tell that
Yeah.
it doesn't look right. It's so bright.
Doesn't it add to the whimsicalness of it a little bit? I think so.
I think so. He's a big fan of these kinds of movies, and he's also satirizing it like It's a Wonderful Life kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
So you could say he's kind of yucking it up with the set.
I think so.
Is what's going on.
I really do
Okay.
think so. And yeah, he wanted it to be like that kind of feeling, but then also that means like Zach Galligan is wearing layers upon layers, and it's so fucking hot out in L.A. Like he's just like we had to do like minimal takes and like take a break and then have to take it all off and then put it back on to do the scene again. Like I mean, obviously all the extras are just layered up.
Yeah.
So it must be torture doing
It's
this.
pretty amazing filmmaking because I don't get at all the thought that it's not cold there.
Sure.
It feels cold to me.
Yeah.
And my brain just goes, cool.
And he's also
It's
like, well,
beautiful.
Even like the night scenes, he's like, well, wouldn't there be breath? He's like,
Come on.
we're just not gonna do
My
it.
brain didn't even think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't, because unless they make a point of saying like lingering on a shot so somebody can breathe,
Right.
or somebody's breathing into the shot of another character. It's like, okay, it's fine. You don't think about it.
And
do
the
ya?
movie takes place mostly at night. At least a lot of the action does,
Yeah.
and so it works well. This is like really the only scenes you get during the day.
Yeah.
And so that takes me. If you were to be taken out of it, you'd probably be taken out right here. But then you're right back in. I think once when it turns
Forget
night,
all
'cause
about it.
you really don't see it. Even like if it's maybe a little foggy out, it adds to it. A
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go on to scene 2. So after stopping at a bar to see crush named Kate, he returns home as his father arrives and gives him a present. They
Benny.
name the Mogwai Gizmo. The next day, Billy's friend named Pete comes over and accidentally spills water on Gizmo. He spawns 6 new Mogwais. One of them gets taken to the school science teacher to examine.
Judge Reinhold. Can you let me go?
I'm gonna mute my mic. Let you roll with this.
Here's the thing about Judge Reinhold.
I shouldn't have given these beers out.
I'm back in.
I shouldn't have given these beers out.
Great, Chris. Have Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry
Damn,
Christmas.
this is
He said.
Freaking-
I fucking
Hi, to all. Hi, y'all. Good night.
I love you guys.
I love you too, man. What was I saying? So Judge, he's kind of an asshole in this movie. Judge Reinhold, he's kind of like the dickhead.
He's pretty judgy.
Yeah, exactly. So Judge was eventually humbled, probably from thinking he was owed a certain owed a certain woman or something that he got, and his ass was kicked. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then he went to therapy and realized simultaneously that he's not the only person in this world, and his new calling. He wants to focus on helping people with their mental health. So he becomes a shrink and eventually meets a single woman with a son who is convinced his father is Santa Claus, also known as his other name, Scott Calvin. Oh. Judge Reinhold in this movie is the same character as he is in Santa Claus.
He's Neil in the
Yes.
Santa Claus. Oh,
I love it, and sorry, the reason I didn't respond is because I'm diving so deep into this of how we can continue to prove that this is the fucking real deal.
and he also
Nice work.
He was in high school back in
That was
California.
1984. So we're assuming How old do you think he is in this movie?
He says he's going to be in his
20.
23.
By the time he gets the company, he'll be 30.
Okay, so this is 84. That means that 10 years later, he's in the Santa Claus. So
Well, I will tell you this.
Okay.
thought about it.
He most certainly was just embarrassed by what happened in high school after everything that he went through, after losing his job, after he exposed himself, after all the junk that he went through. And he took that nice car of his, he took it with him, and he drove it over to Michigan. And he said, no, I'm going to school.
I'm starting again.
I can start again. Nobody knows me in this side of the country. And he gets his degree at Michigan U, and he becomes a banker.
So Brad Hamilton changed his name to Gerald Hopkins.
Correct.
To start again.
Yeah.
Because with the internet back then, like, time spread pretty quick about his embarrassing time in California.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lots of internet.
All of the internet. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I love this. I love everything about this.
Good.
Can we take a moment to have a Barney appreciation
Please.
moment? Lovable face, maybe best actor in this entire movie.
Oh, he's up there.
I don't know if there's a better dog other than maybe the Thing that we've ever dealt with. This dog just is absolutely amazing on camera.
I mean, people were clamoring for Barney and what was the name of the Thing? That was...
I gotcha.
Roger.
Nope.
Yep.
Not at all.
Jed.
Jed.
Was the dog in the Thing, and I'll get you the dog name for this.
Jed and other guy.
Stage name Barney.
Yeah,
Mushroom. A dog named Mushroom.
No,
played-
it's
Barney.
Steve.
Steve.
Jed and Barney, they were clamoring. You know, like they were like around this time where Tom Cruise and like
Were they the Coreys?
Tom
The equivalent
Hanks.
of the Coreys?
Yeah, they were
Like,
pretty much the Coreys around this time.
Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't have a movie without having one of them in there.
Like all the girls
and
had
Precious, of course.
Right. Oh, yeah, Precious.
all the girls.
Precious is an old starlet at this point, probably. You know, she's had lots of experience. You know, I had to turn it down.
Also worked with Joe Dante.
I had to turn it down.
Precious
Joe
was
wanted me back, but I said, Joe, I can't.
Actually, that's a great point. Joe Dante and his animals. Like, he takes
Yeah.
big selection and big pride in picking the right animal.
Oh, yeah.
He's good at
Wow.
it. Good at it.
Yep.
Barney, I'm telling you, Barney kills it in this whole movie.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
him.
And by the way, fuck yeah, Barney for attacking Mrs. Deagle. Like, I love that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
pe-
that he takes him to work too. Also, like, bad move, but
Yeah,
you
it's,
love your dog. That's
it's
fine.
it's extremely irresponsible. Weird how it's like a running theme. But
I had a neighbor like Mrs. Deagle who wanted to kill my dog too. So I
Ooh,
did
I
not
remember
mind.
that. That was a terrible thing.
Yeah.
for somebody to just like blatantly outright say, "I want to kill your animal," I want to do bad things to it.
And for everybody to be like,
slow and
I don't know
painful.
what to do with you, man.
That's the fucked up thing that, like, let's say you take two people that are on opposite political sides, that are on opposite religious sides, that believe in nothing. They have zero similar ground.
Right.
And they're about ready to fight each other over everything they believe in. And then in walks a guy going, this lady wants to kill my dog. They would both be like, shake hands, let's kill that lady.
Yeah.
You just cannot fuck with animals.
Yeah.
And everybody's just like, yeah, that's fine. That dog kind of does suck.
I love how like
Peace
fucking-
treaty for the moment. We're going.
Yeah. I love how nasty they make her out because like the woman with the two kids, like we're hungry, we can't. Like, can you tell whatever his name is that we can't pay this? You know, Merry Christmas, or consider it a Christmas gift or whatever she says. But it's just fucking gross and awful.
Think you know what to ask Santa for Christmas
Yeah,
then, huh?
that's it. That's it.
It's weird that they make her into like a villain, but then it ends. Like she's not a villain. She serves no purpose to the story, really.
She's like a red herring of an antagonist of some
Yeah,
kind.
I
I mean,
think-
she kind of gets it hers and everything. She is a piece of shit, but you know that doesn't make you the antagonist.
I think it's just a build up for you to not mind when she gets launched out of a window.
That's a good point. Yeah, we
We
don't
don't care. We
know
love
we've
it.
got to kill this old broad at some point. Let's make her real shitty.
Yeah.
and then the audience will agree with us. It'll be fine.
Let's hit the Jarrett Layoff Confused Breakfast actor database. Do you know who in this movie has been in the most movies we've covered?
Belinda Belasky with 2.
Nah, bro.
Oh, okay.
AJ, any guesses?
Is it Dick Miller?
You guys, it's Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman, duh.
Corey Feldman with his 6th appearance on this show. That moves him into 10th spot for the most movies we've covered. Think about Corey. I love so much talking about Corey Feldman because it's such an interesting thing to me about from where he is now to what he was. 1984 to 1990, the dude just shredded out movies. He was aged 12 to 19 during this period. Gremlins, Goonies, Burbs, License to Drive, Stand By Me, Lost Boys, Friday the 13th Final Chapter, New Beginning as well, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's a bit of a nobody at this point. I think this is kind of his first main major role.
Spielberg talked about casting him in something, but he just didn't. He got really close, and then he suggested to Joe Dante Corey Feldman for this movie.
It's wild because I love him in this, and you start to see this dude's talented. I think
Yeah.
he won an award for like emerging young actor or something like that. But it also brings up the point that like this dude's 12, and Billy clearly went to high school with Judge Reinhold.
Yeah.
Judge Reinhold's 23.
Yeah.
They're like best friends, and they're 11 years apart. I kind of read into that a little too much, but apparently the original script had Billy being 12 to 13 years old as well.
Okay.
And they wanted it to be like Stranger Things kind of a deal, but then something changed to where they wanted to cast Billy, and they wanted him to be able to have a job, and so they just made him older, but then never changed the age of the young neighborhood kid. Because don't you get the vibe that they're like best friends?
Well,
Like they know each other well enough.
really well.
he seems like the neighbor kid that comes over a lot.
Okay.
That's what I got the sense. Not that maybe they're best friends, but they're close. And he comes over and Billy tolerates him.
I
Is
mean-
kind of what I got. But tolerates him in a really positive way.
Yeah. I did that but I did it because my brothers knew the people that I was going over to hang out at their house. I pop over
You
at
went
their house.
with them.
Yeah, I either went with them or I like went over there for whatever random child reasoning you have. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, well they said I could have an action figure, so I'm gonna go on over there. And it's like, why are you here, kid?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that same vibe. It's just like they just let him in because it's the same thing. It's like that neighborhood policy of just like kind of open door for for people who want to come on over. or
Like
something.
in Home Alone, that kid
Yeah.
that gets mistaken for
yeah,
Macaulay.
yeah,
You know?
100%.
It's like, yeah, he's around.
Yes,
We let him in sometimes. I
You
don't even know how
like
he gets
him,
in.
but it's-
So Corey Feldman, okay, so this kid is just so used to just running this neighborhood pretty much that he eventually goes on and in the Burbs just maintains his same damn attitude
Same neighborhood.
at every turn.
That's why he's not weirded out by all the activity that's happening. He's
No,
like,
when I
we
get
live
friends-
through Gremlins.
He's like, dude, have you seen those those Gizwitch things? Man, those things are fucking wild. This is normal.
Eventually, when I get friends, I'm gonna have him come over and watch this with me because it's unbelievable.
That's
I tell you.
crazy.
Yeah.
I like Corey Feldman in this. I think actually he does a great job. He rocks that bowl cut and just sweater.
Oh yeah.
Just like he looks like he's out of the 70s.
Yeah.
Straight up.
So we gotta talk about Gizmo now.
Please, the reveal.
Yeah.
Giz.
So he gives him the gift and he's like shaking it. He's like, "What is it, a dog?" I'm like, "Fuck, I hope not."
You already have a dog. Why?
Yeah. Well, he's just shaking the fuck out of it too.
Yeah.
But once he's revealed, it's just like, what a fucking cutie. I mean, how do you not fall in love with this thing?
I think the whole world probably fell in love with
Oh,
Gizmo.
my
Man.
God.
That's why the merchandising probably went nuts for this.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
probably another reason why it garnered so much money as well, is just because the merchandising from it. And what a genius move by Spielberg to just be like, you need to make a stuffed animal out of this because that'll make it memorable, you know?
Yeah.
And not just have like scary gremlins kill everybody.
It's such a cute little thing. It's like the most innocent, tiny thing that would grace a screen. Like, think about this like compared to E.T. At E.T., you're just like, I guess.
Like my wife.
Do you
Yeah.
want...
Can't even see it.
Or do you want...
Yeah. My
Yeah,
wife
obviously.
can't even see a photo of ET
Dude.
without like losing her mind and being like, get that away from me. But Gizmo?
Gizmo?
Ain't a person alive that would be like, that's pretty cute.
Yeah.
And by the way, you're calling it Gizmo. That's adorable.
Yeah.
It's adorbs.
Cray Cray adorbs.
makes you-
Soup's Cray Cray adorbs.
What makes me fall in love with Gizmo right off the bat is when he's playing the piano with him.
Dude.
And he's doing his theme and he does the wrong note. And then Gizmo's like, no. Or he like shudders at the
Yeah.
wrong note. And I'm like, oh, he even knows
Perfect
like,
See?
pitch, bro.
God
Gets
damn it,
man.
this thing's great.
He hates bad music too. You know, this is the thing, right? Is all along the way, we have the most like sweet, like adorable little creature to ever grace cinema at this point, and you have these guys, and the dad even says, "Hey, these are 3 like real important rules." Like, he didn't take them seriously from the kid, but he at least expressed them seriously here, and he says, no bright lights, no water, don't feed it after midnight. And every time he starts to just break one of these rules, he's like, oh, damn it. Oops.
Oopsies.
Whatever.
Well, because
Oh.
there's no they don't say what
Interesting.
consequences are. No one knows what happens if they break these rules.
Well, it turns out they multiply, and you create 6 buttholes that poop instead of just 1. And that's the problem, Michael. And by the way, it looks like he's going through the most excruciating pain of his
Bad.
life.
I don't like that.
That he's just like, it's like, oh, drop some. I dribbled some water on it, and it's
Poor
just,
dude.
it's just getting freaking.
They're focused on like the other ones who are like being born essentially. Like, wow,
Yeah.
look at those. And over here, he's fucking convulsing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, oh man, it's like every time he gets hit with lights, it's like, hey, no bright lights, it'll kill him. They had a consequence, it will kill him, and they're still like, oh, forgot the lights.
Oops.
Whoops, fuck, dude.
Well, and don't you think at this point you're not going to like a high school science teacher with this?
This is my other problem.
You're going to a veterinarian, you're going to the authorities, you're going somewhere other than like the guy who just maybe failed at a few other moments of his life to end up here smoking cigarettes at 2 a.m. in the high school going like, yeah, I don't know how I got here, but I'm here and pays the bills. So
This is confirmed, right? That it is a high school.
this is a high school science teacher
There's a high school science.
that he's 5 years removed from and still talks to. Cool.
He's Donnie Darko.
Yeah. Okay.
I wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I have to, like maybe Billy was an underclassman to judge, right? Maybe he was like maybe he's like 3 years behind or 2 years behind. He's still out of high school,
Yes.
so he makes friends with the weirdest people. I just got to say this: the
He
high
really
school,
does.
the high school science teacher, that kid who just won't leave his house. It's pretty weird. He doesn't have many friends.
Yeah.
What's up, Billy?
Well, let's go on to scene 3. So Billy discovers that new Mogwais are mean-spirited by how they treat his family and his dog. Billy goes to the bar and asks Kate out on a date. That night, he's tricked into feeding the Mogwais after midnight. The Mogwai at the school also sneaks some food. Billy realizes he was tricked when he finds that the Mogwais are now transforming inside of cocoons.
I like when Stripe.
Yes,
bites Corey Feldman, and they all giggle. It's just like they're like a collective, but like he's the leader. I don't know. There's something about that I really like.
I do think you kind of have to humanize the goons a bit in this point, that these new Mogwais, they're not evil. They're babies.
They're babies.
They're mischievous. They're babies. That is where you that is exactly what they are.
You're
Gizmo's older. He's placid and flaccid. I was going to say flaccid, and I just went with it.
That's good, man.
He's placid. The primal instinct. It's kind of like a sex thing. Like it's to eat. Like these little things are just babies. They're going to do whatever they
something
can
near
do.
its mouth that smells maybe a little salty. I'm going to fucking bite it.
Gizmo knows the rules. He's like, I don't want to create.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat. I'm not going to eat after midnight. I know the rules. These guys don't. So they're going to do what they have to sneak that food. Not only not like they didn't know they would transform. They just knew they wanted to eat food. The movie portrays it like they know that if we can just get this midnight food, then we'll become these evil. It's like, no, they didn't. And then think about the scientist. This high school science teacher was abusive to this guy, putting him in a cage, like shooting him up. Like this guy was just trying to kind of escape from that. He wasn't trying to be evil, wasn't trying to kill the kid. And like the mom, they transform into these new creatures. They're still mischievous children. And then the mom comes in and straight fucking kills all of them.
Murks them all.
Oh, yeah. Just goes Rambo in this house.
So then that's when they are like, all right, screw this new world. We're going nuts.
We're going straight xenomorph pods.
But ultimately, they still like to go have fun with their bros. They like to hit the bar up.
Yeah, why not?
They like to hit the bar up. They like to hit the theater, catch a movie at Marcus Theaters. All right, 30 seconds. Hit the 30-second button. Greg Marcus, you should show Gremlins. And then, like, at some point, like, we should have a bunch of gremlin creatures come out or something like that.
Dude.
In the middle of it.
We should do that.
And then we'll all hang out at Marcus Tavern afterwards.
Yeah, with the creatures, because they like to hit the bar. Oh. See?
Watch a sports game.
Watch your favorite sports team.
Yeah, because they like watch their sports teams.
Not finish their beers.
And
yeah. What do you think about humanizing these guys? Like, I don't think they were so bad.
No, I don't. I think you're right. I think that they're a little bit misunderstood, and they don't understand themselves yet, is what you're saying. You know, well, I think essentially they are just kids, and they're learning, and you need to let them get their bumps and bruises, and then learn them. And
maybe not kill all their friends.
Maybe not
murk all their friends.
Yeah, treat them as science projects, perhaps. You know.
Yeah, maybe don't stab them with needles a bunch, and then like run more and more tests. You know,
they didn't ask to be brought in this world.
Correct.
You did this.
Yeah, you're the one who
didn't follow the rules. You brought them in this world. Now you're responsible for it.
Correct. Yeah. And then you continue to not follow the rules. Yeah. I mean, this is on you, first of all. But I mean, you're right, Mike. What would you do if you went from being like, I don't know, we'll just say like 6 years old, and then you go through a cocoon state and you come out 21? You're just like, fuck yeah, I can drink, dude.
Those are my favorite years, dude. I missed out on my favorite years. I'm gonna revel in the fact that like I missed out on the best years of my life.
Yeah. See?
I'm gonna drink myself to death.
Yeah, I'm
exactly.
going my bros. I'm going to the coolest bar that we would all want to be at.
The bar in town.
I mean, come on. By the way, prop.
Ooh, here's a prop.
There's a neon bar sign for the bar. It's like what is it? Pat
George Killian's?
No, it's not the George Killian's.
I hate you so much.
In fact,
I'm taking it because you don't even know the name of the tavern.
You looked up the name of the tavern.
I have it written down like a fucking cool person that takes notes.
All right, let's solve this like adults and do rock paper scissors.
Okay, is it rock paper scissors shoot?
Shoot.
Okay.
One time or 2 out of 3?
One time.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Fudge!
Oh. And it's Dory's Tavern. It's Dory's Tavern, and it is a Shamrock on it. Dory's Tavern with the Shamrock. But hey, listen, I got it, and it's on our wall. It's for all of us.
All right,
Okay,
it's gonna be on this
All right,
side
cool.
though,
But it is Mike's.
Yeah, but it's also mine. So when the podcast is over, I get to take it home with me.
He's just like, by the way, this is our last episode. So fuck
It's our
it.
best episode.
I want the bathroom, buddy.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I mean, come on, like right here.
Good to do. You never know. We might travel somewhere, and we might need to bring it with us.
In case AJ forgot his nail clippers like he usually does.
Dude, I need you. I need you, bro, more than ever. 'Cause my anxiety's getting the best of me in the back of this Tesla. So,
Yeah, it sucks being
dude,
us.
I don't even know what I want now. This sucks, dude.
The George Gillian sign, Irish Red.
Oh, I got one for you.
Not a great beer.
The helmet, the football helmet that Mogwai hides inside of while they're going kind of crazy around him. Something about that scene kind of like creeps me out. That
I know.
like poor Mogwai, he's in the helmet and he's like, you know,
Yeah,
like,
oh,
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
the different faces that Gizmo has.
sorry, yeah, Gizmo.
Yeah, the
I'm saying
Gizmo, like
Mogwai.
his little sad little pouty face. I'm like, God damn it, dude.
Poor
Fuck.
guy.
It
Dude.
works so well.
It's when he is. It's when he's like still in bed or whatever. And next to him,
God.
he's like, Gizmo, you want some? He's like, no. And then they just kind of like sitting there, and it's like he's got like a comic book or something, and he's like looking at the TV like.
Yeah.
Like it's just so innocent of just being like, oh, what's going on here? He is a 30-year-old Mogwai.
Yeah.
He is. He went through that
30-something Mogwai.
He made it
He's
out
like,
of there.
I understand. If he had glasses, he could look over the brim of. He would, right? Like that's what he's just be
Guys,
like, oh, my
guys,
God. Hey,
guys,
quiet down.
Hey,
over
could you
there.
get off the shed?
Hey,
Could you get off the shed? Okay.
please.
Come on. You ain't supposed to feed them.
You're not-
I told you
They're
not supposed to feed
gonna
'em.
find food.
this is what I've been talking about. This whole
Multiple
time.
people have warned you about this, but whatever. Have
Speaking
some chicken
of,
fingers.
He'd be taking them off like disappointedly, like, okay, yeah, no, it's just all his little faces, like you're saying, Sean. That was the one that like took me back. That I was just like, I cracked up at that point,
Yes.
because I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's about it.
Speaking of, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Speaking of the bar, we need to talk about Phoebe Cates' little monologue. One of her monologues that she has, her setup to her big monologue, where she's like, "I thought most people were happy to." Or Zach Galligan, Billy says, "I thought most people were happy during the holidays. Well, while some people are opening up their presents, other people are opening up their wrists." Jesus.
That's what she said.
And she says,
well,
it's-
how did I miss that?
Yeah, she says it's. I mean, it's. I think people know it's probably like the #1 day of suicide.
Suicide's like Christmas Eve,
something like
Christmas
that.
Day.
I get it, and I don't necessarily hate Christmas, but I hate the fake joy that we're forced to have.
Oh.
That's what I hate about it.
Okay.
And I think she represents this very, very well, where she's like, I like something very dark happened to me on Christmas, which we'll get to later.
I don't know. What could it be?
I don't know. And I don't like it. And he's like, well, most people do. I was like, I'm not most people. Something fucked up happened to me, and I hate this time of year. Nothing like that has ever happened to me, obviously, but that is what I hate. It's just like the fake, the hustle and bustle of finding things for people. Like, yes, this makes them know that I love them. You know, I think that is exemplified very well here, and has not been like really well represented in any other movie that I've ever seen. This is exactly how I feel.
Would you compare her almost to Lydia Dietz
Almost.
in a way of this just dark female character?
She's
in
not
a way.
She's not so like comic book
purpose?
character.
Yeah.
About it, but yeah, maybe a real.
Winona Ryder could have played this role
Sure.
in a way that she did in Beetlejuice, kind of.
I
Maybe.
like it a little bit more real here. 'Cause
If she
it's-
was still
okay.
a little bit bright, like she was at the end of Beetlejuice.
Okay, yeah, correct.
Right?
Or in more in like Heathers or something.
There you
like
go,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like she's obviously the odd one out, but not completely
Yes.
removed. You know, yeah. But I still like Phoebe Cates in this role because I think that part of her, like the way that she plays, I think that Phoebe Cates just shines through to make this role what it is. So there is a darkness, but she doesn't like let it overtake.
Yeah, it's not a main plot point per se, but that's a really good point, Sean. Like that's not a common theme in any sort of a Christmas movie.
Right, and like we'll get to it a little bit later, but like the producers or some of the other producers except for Amblin, they like the people who were investing in it or people who were buying it from Amblin wanted them to take that scene out or like that content out.
Okay, I mean,
they wanted it out of the movie. They felt it was like too dark or something.
Oh yeah, way too dark. I mean, it is pretty fucked up.
Yeah, that's a hell of a line. Like I say, like I don't like. It would just I lost that one apparently. Like of all of the times I've watched it, pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't know.
Before we get onto that scene, there was a really cool thing. This will be my what did I call it last episode? My something moment.
Bet you didn't see
Bet
that.
you didn't see that moment. When Dad is at the conference and he's calling home, he's saying he's kind of at the payphone and he's like, yeah, you know, it's not a lot of crazy inventions around me. If you in the first scene you see this like weird time machine in the background, and then it cuts away to Mom. And then it goes back to him, and time machine is gone. And they do not. It is the most subtle thing in the entire. You don't know it. Did you know it until you read about it?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it.
Maybe multiple years.
I saw it, and then like I read about it, and then I'm like, oh, okay, well now I really get it.
It's a beautiful moment that there was a time machine at an inventors convention, and in the time it cut back to then, it was gone.
Spielberg rolls by.
Oh my god!
Apparently, he had like a broken ankle or something, so he like
rolled
was
by
really
in a scooter
in a
or
castle.
something like that. Just a little, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio. Next time you watch this movie, oh. Check this out.
Jerry Goldsmith's in that scene, a little cameo.
Yeah,
a little composer of the movie. Yeah, he's in there.
Fucking great, man.
Yeah, super fun.
Well, let's move on to scene 4 then. So he heads to the school to find that the creature has killed the teacher. Meanwhile, at the Peltzer house, Billy's mom kills 4 of the Mogwais, but the 5th creature escapes. Tracking it to the YMCA, they find that it's jumped into the pool, multiplying. He tries to warn the cops, but they don't listen. The Gremlins wreak havoc on the town.
Man, oh man, Mom just going to town.
Is this the best scene of the movie?
I think it is.
It's the most memorable one to me of actually seeing this as a kid, because I remember the song hitting. I remember the "Do you hear what I
listen?"
Hear? And I could never hear that song for the longest time without like thinking about this. It was so scary because she's going around with a knife, like a full-on knife. She's got an arsenal of knives in there, by the way. She's definitely done the Cutco special, but it's just like she got, you know, it's fine. She's going through though with that, man, when she has to go back downstairs, it's just no holes barred.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, I mean, even before this too, there's some of the ways that they shoot these puppets that are very, very convincing for me too. Because when he's in the science lab and discovers the dead guy or whatever who shot him in the ass, and he is looking through like the cabinets. By the way, the lighting of the cabinets looks exactly like them looking for files in the movie The Howling. It's like the blinds. They're shooting through the blinds. The light's coming through the blinds. Looks exactly like that. But it's another Joe Dante movie.
Joe Dante.
But he opens the cabinet and one of the gremlins pops out, and then it kind of like flies off. But then for you to get the sense that it's moving, you see him like look from the cabinet and then like onto the ground like this, but you don't see the gremlin, and then you see the door kind of pop open, like it moves to the door popping open.
Yeah.
Sean, you are absolutely right. I actually made a note because this is your specialty of like knowing how they did this. Me as a guy just viewing it, they do an incredible job of making you think they move fast.
Yeah,
but you don't actually see it.
Yeah. So in reality, that thing popped out and Paradise landed on the ground.
Of course it did.
And then performance-wise, that Galligan's got to be like, he's
pretending it's moving.
Yeah.
So he's convincing us all.
Exactly.
And so it takes it back to like that classic horror movie kind of trope. Not trope, but like idea. your brain makes it work.
Yes.
Your brain makes it scary. Your brain makes it worse than what it is. Your brain fills in the gaps.
A stupid little puppet.
Like, and it's just a puppet that obviously probably just fell on the floor, or like they jumped it to the floor with a string. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then after that, we assume it ran through the door. It's great.
Yeah.
They
Movie
do
magic.
it. They do it about 3 or 4 different times in that scene of like, shoo, phew, phew, and you hear like footsteps and like, but no, nothing's moving.
Yeah.
You don't see it moving.
And it just moves on to this, which I think is, you're right, is the best scene of the movie,
so
where
good.
she puts the thing in the blender, and like it's just adding like carnage and chaos to it, and like seeing like the black blood, because you can't probably show red, you know. Who knows, because we didn't have PG-13, but
That's
a good point.
now.
Good point.
It's like the mom is taking care of business, and I don't know why she's not in the rest of the movie. From
You're
here on
right.
out.
She disappears, doesn't
because
she?
she kills like 3 of them. Or like
She kills
3,
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Like, fuck,
4 to
man.
5 of the OGs, yeah.
Stripe's the only one that gets away, and then the other one is in the science
and it
teacher.
is funny because some of the inventions get used.
I know.
And it's like
that's
now they have a purpose. That's really fun.
That's fucking great.
That is funny. Like, that is funny, right? Like, I didn't even think about that, Sean. I'll be honest with you. It's like now they served a purpose. They actually did something right for whoever needed it.
And that's the Peltzer promise.
And that's
One of my inventions finally worked. Back to the Future.
this is like carnage. Like, so I said to my wife, "Oh, we're watching Gremlins." She's like, "Oh, great." And I'm like,
Your wife
yeah.
said that?
Yeah, I was like, it's like
I didn't say that.
I was like, yeah, Harrison can't watch it. She's like, what? Why not? And I'm like, no,
But it's PG.
He's 2 years old. He can't watch this. And then I was like the kitchen scene. It's like, well, okay.
It's up there, man.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
She knifes one to the counter, and it's still struggling the whole time. By the way, while it's like, so first one, blender,
Yeah.
boom, knifes one to the cutting board, and it's sitting there struggling the whole time animatronically, while she goes and just does in the other 2.
The microwave.
It does the microwave.
Explodes.
Yeah, locks one in the microwave. That's sadistic. Mom's got some shit going on, okay? She's been putting up with dad for too long.
Honestly, you're exactly right. I think she's got this pent up sexual frustration, probably some anger in there towards the dad a little bit, probably, and she's like maybe been watching the Army Channel, whatever that is. She's been watching MASH a lot.
She's watched a lot of MASH.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she was making
Taxi.
Yeah.
She probably was making gingerbread cookies so she could do the exact same thing to these gingerbread cookies, but just turns out these Gremlins came along.
Yeah.
That's what I like to think.
Sean, I think you might agree. Some of these special effects. This movie's 1984. Pretty badass.
It
how
works.
some of this stuff holds up. Even for me, he gets to the YMCA in the pool scene when all of a sudden the pool just starts lighting up and bubbling. That's all practical effects. I don't know what they did, or they had bubblers and like crazy lights, and I'm just watching that going, I believe it.
It
I
looks
believe
great.
a gremlin fell in there and now weird shit's happening.
Well, it's
I watched that scene and I was like, oh, they're never going to get that thing clean again. It's just like, that's why I gave up on my pool, dude. I was like, you're never going to get that water back from
You're
green.
never going to get
the
that
amount
out.
of chlorine pellets, dude. You're
Dude.
gonna need trucks and
You
trucks
stay
of
on
chlorine.
top of that.
Oh, yeah. You have to stay on top of it. And these guys just ruined it. Like, you might as well have dumped an entire bag of leaves into that thing because it's fucked. And I bet that pool stinks now. Ugh.
I mean, yeah. Now after it's all bubbled and everyone gets out, the still water effect.
Oh, dude.
That's gonna be nasty.
That's-
It's gonna be gross, bro.
Oh, it's not good.
Not gonna be good at
No,
all.
not
I do
good.
like it is like Stripe is the one that gets away from the mom, and it's really like the last one standing. Like he lost the battle but not the war, so he's
Yeah.
like finds his way to the pool. It's a really fun, like it ups the ante a lot, and so like now there's an army of gremlins. It's
You had your chance if you could have just got him.
yes,
Yep.
It would have been all right, but now you're fucked.
yeah.
Yeah. It ups it because if we were just spending the whole movie chasing this one around, then it wouldn't have been interesting. You know what I mean? It would have just been like we're trying to get the last one it just wouldn't have felt as dire. I mean, how do you do it? How do you make them? How do you make us care more? Well, you add more Gremlins.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Yeah. Jonathan Banks is one of the deputies.
That's the second time in
Breaking
a movie
Bad.
we've done. He was in Airplane. I just love seeing that guy pop up in a movie because it's like
And
you
he's
don't
always
even
an
notice him
authority
at first.
figure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't notice him at first. You're like, oh, that's a cool guy. Is that Mike from Breaking Bad? Better Call Saul.
Wait a second.
What a stud! He's really great in this.
Yeah, I like both the sheriff
Yes.
and him a lot.
Yes.
They're really fun.
Yeah. What was it? You think this kid is drunk? No, you're drunk. It's like, why don't we have we should have had a separate movie for them. We should have a spin-off TV show for these two.
We have a lot.
It would have been the better chips.
A lot of movies that we cover have that of like those side characters, they seem to be like sheriff deputy types.
Yeah.
Or they seem to be criminals like Three Ninjas.
Yes.
3 Ninjas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey.
Hey, all
Hey-o.
right.
Yeah.
Hiya!
Reference.
I finished mine. I'm hammered.
I am too.
What about this Dick Miller moment though? Might be the best of the movie.
He hates foreigners.
By the way, his fourth movie he's been in, Burbs, Explorers, Terminator, and this Dick Miller.
3 out of 4, Joe Dante.
When they
friends.
attack his house when he's home with his wife, and he goes, there's a real gremlin in my cab. Ah! Lost it.
He's
That
great.
scream was so perfect when he did that.
Yeah. If I'm being honest, like as we've been going through this, right? To me, the most interesting things are happening with all the side characters.
Yes,
Oh, 100%.
because this is also Mrs. Deagle.
Yeah, her
this
demise,
is when
right?
her demise too. These are hilarious.
Like,
and no one actually dies, right?
well, I think they technically say, don't they? Didn't they say that she does?
It's sure funny as fuck when she goes flying out
It
that
is.
window.
Let's just say that she died.
Death can be
Okay,
funny.
Okay.
Death
One
can be
death.
funny.
They knew that she was a mistreater of animals.
Yeah. Right.
And they're like, we'll kill her. Everybody else is fine.
Yeah.
Like, this is important. Yeah. No, like, but that's the thing. Like, it's so funny to me. The things that I think are enjoyable about this movie are all the things happening to all the side characters. And so I guess what I'm getting at is it seems more and more like pointless that we have a main character, Billy.
Yeah.
Well,
And I'm not diminishing like the actor or his performance or anything like that. I'm just saying the character overall is a very, very lame driver or like follower or like thing to follow.
so like when we cut back to him, because I will argue, my
Okay,
argument
yeah, yeah.
is that
Please.
his character is the driver of the story.
Okay.
And so he has Gizmo. And so he has to kind of figure everything out because he has Gizmo, and he kind of started all this a little bit. He feels responsible. And so when we cut back to him, he's our driver for that engine. And my question to you is: do you not like him?
No, actually, I think he's fine because I actually I don't mind the performance. And I know like my whelmed tangent and everything from earlier.
No, and I agree with that.
May speak otherwise, but I think that he serves that character really well. That being said, by the time we've reached this point of the movie, I don't care about how he solves it. I care that the town solves it.
Yeah.
Or that like the people come together. Or couldn't we have had like a final like pitchforks and torches moment of like, let's get back at these things? You know, that seemed more fun to me rather than like turning the theater into a gas chamber.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just kind of weird.
Those damn gremlins
I know.
not being pure.
Yikes, dude.
They're not like real Gizmo.
Whoa. Okay, AJ's hung up his headphones. He's going to step away for one quick second.
It helps me stop thinking about the rabbit hole that I want to travel down.
Yeah. Yeah.
We shouldn't do it.
So scene 5?
Yeah, maybe.
All right, scene 5 then.
Well, I'll just get back to reality, I guess.
They're second. There
Because all that was satire.
satire.
That's why you're here.
No, I think I agree with you. I think that I agree with you that you're right that the side characters are a little bit more entertaining for sure because I think movies do this a lot where because the formula has been set up for us a lot with these types of movies that when we cut back to our main character, we're like, we know what's going to happen with them though. We don't know what's going to happen with the side characters,
right?
Who are more fun. I think that's kind of where my head lies. So I agree and disagree with you.
Maybe it's just a rare thing, because you said that, it makes me think like, how often is our main character the straight man out of the whole equation? Is that more often than not?
I would say so. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
It depends on kind of which movie. Like if you're talking about like straight action, it could be like an Arnold Schwarzenegger type who's been through it all, or
right.
like the guy that's kind of thrown into this kind of situation, like Zach Galligan.
Right, and that's where I get hung up is because, he just seems he doesn't fit as a hero type. Maybe that's fine, but at the same, it just doesn't. I just wish there was like more comeuppance for the Gremlins from the side characters.
Okay.
There we go. Maybe that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Cool.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, scene 5, so Billy goes to the bar to rescue Kate. They find out that all the Gremlins have gone inside a movie theater and they blow it up. All are killed except for one. They track it to a department store and have a battle. Gizmo ends up saving the day. That night, the Chinese store owner returns to take Gizmo back with them.
It's fun to think, though, that Inglourious Basterds got this idea from...
Oh, my God.
Hang on.
No, you...
Huh?
There's
Right.
no way, right?
Continue.
Oh, no.
Yeah, okay, well then...
It's a fun...
No.
It's cool that Tarantino is like, God,
Tarantino said,
I love Gremlins.
Wouldn't it be funny
So
if we
much.
pretended like Gremlins were Nazis
Yeah.
and recreated the scene?
Yeah, and they thought they were better than us, but it turns out they are not because we blow them up in a movie theater.
All right.
I think I kind of agree with you because I've seen interviews with Quentin Tarantino where he talks about Gremlins and maybe he did get this theater scene from Joe Dante.
No, this is it.
That's it.
It is. Quentin, we know. We figured you out.
We
dude.
got you, dude.
We got you, man.
Not only, guys, AJ serves a purpose on this show. Every now and again, not often. I mean, not often, but sometimes he serves a purpose. And not only does he bring the revelation that the movie theater in Inglourious Basterds is the reverse, chamber thing, but he also says that Quentin Tarantino got that from the Gremlins. You're welcome. Anyway, scene 5, guys. Go ahead.
No, we're already.
We're at the bar scene.
I
This
know.
No, I know.
this is pure comedy. The Gremlins at the bar, and I know a lot of people would maybe say this is dumb, and it mystifies it a little bit. It's like, why would they go to the bar and they're drinking water basically, so they're gonna die? But I thought this was such a funny pop culture moment of them doing all the weird things. The only one I didn't get, there was a gag with them like holding puppets. And I didn't catch the pop culture reference. Like the Gremlins were doing puppets, like a puppet scene.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't quite catch what that was all about. But the rest of it was, I loved this scene.
It's really fun.
Because they were doing the puppets to like one of the serious one, right? Like
Yeah,
the
it's-
Stripe or something. Or
Yeah,
something.
it's just weird.
Yeah, it was weird. I didn't.
It's
catch
fine.
that
I'm
either.
sure it was some pop culture moment of the time.
Sure.
Because there was like the flash dance scene, and it was just amazing. And the fact that Phoebe Cates is just still there and
Yeah.
serving them. It's like you could
Being
just leave.
made to work.
You could leave.
That's the funniest thing. Like, think about how that whole interaction went down, right? She's like closing up for the night, and then she's like, "Oh, just gotta lock up doors and everything." And then, whoosh, windows broken by something, probably one of them jumping through it. And then they're like holding her hostage.
Yeah, I mean, one of them does have a gun.
In gibberish, saying, "Get behind the bar, wench."
Okay.
And that's what's going on here. That's pretty comical. I like to think that's they're all just yelling at her from behind the bar. It's the worst.
It's like what a bartender goes through, I would imagine.
It is. That is basically
It
bartending.
is exactly what it is.
The Flasher Gremlin. This movie's PG.
Yeah, thank you.
This is where it skirts the line a lot too of like a lot of what is going on here because you get the Flasher Gremlin and then the kind of the smoking Gremlins as well I don't know, man. Like this and what was it?
Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom.
Gremlins and Temple of Doom in Temple of the Doom.
Temple of
In
Doom.
1984 were the two movies that made people go, all right, listen.
Hang on.
Listen, these are not R-rated films. Okay, they're not R.
Yep.
They're not PG. What do we got to do here? Do we do something in the middle? Is it 12? Is it 13? Is it 14? At what age do people probably need to be at to watch these two
What
films?
grade are you in when you're 13?
13, you're like 6th grade, 7th grade.
Is that like middle school?
That's middle school.
Is it?
You're
6th,
basically in middle
7th
school.
grade feels about right for a Gremlins or a Temple of the Doom.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Temple of the Doom, you're getting a heart ripped out. You're right. I feel like Gremlins probably just added to the list, maybe.
Also, real quick question, is NC-17 worse than R?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
it
they're
is.
basically saying that if you're 14, you can watch an R-rated movie. Or wait, what are they saying?
What they're saying is R-rated is what's it stand for?
R-rated is restricted.
Restricted.
So how old do you have to be to see an R-rated
18
movie?
years or older or with a guardian.
Then what
With
the
the
fuck
Guardian.
does NC-17 mean?
I think NC-17 means
Like not a fucking chance.
is if you're under 17, you can't see it.
Even if your
regardless.
mom's like, no, my
Correct.
son can watch this movie. They're like, you can
Right.
go fuck yourself, lady.
That's-
your son cannot see this movie.
Yeah, they're gonna stop you at the well, not at Marcus theaters, but they are gonna stop you at other theaters.
It's all the-
NC-17 stands for No Children Under 17.
Yeah.
It's the highest rating the MPA's film.
but what does R stand for?
Restricted.
R is just restricted.
to
But it's not restricted because if you want to go, it's fine.
if you want with a parent. If you're a parent, you want to bring your kid, you weird fuck. You can bring it to this R-rated movie. However, this movie over here is too weird for your kid who's under 17.
Yep.
It contains adult material and is restricted to people 17 and older or those accompanied by an adult guardian.
Got you.
That means even when it's NC-17, even if you have a guardian, you're not
No,
fucking
they're like,
coming.
no, you
Correct.
can't. You literally
Correct.
can't. Your parents are stupid, and
Yeah.
you cannot come in this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, your parents is ignorant, all right,
Okay.
and they ain't coming in. Yeah,
No, this is a great
but
scene.
not at a Marcus.
If there's any,
They won't
if there's
stop.
any episode you've ever wanted to try on our YouTube, I think it's this one. I think it's this one.
The music switches to jazz and they just start doing the scatting low voice. Like, it's some of this is fun, man.
Well, then, if you're going from fun though, Sean, then you're moving on to the Phoebe Cates story.
Yeah.
Is this the most horrifying monologue in the history of movies?
And poorly timed too. You know?
Yeah.
Hey, we're trying to finish this up. Can we talk about this later?
Yeah.
Just saying.
This comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
finding out, basically a monologue about finding out that Santa Claus isn't real, but also we're going to completely forget that we had this conversation moving forward.
This is yeah.
It's incredible. Like, it's absolutely incredible that this got put into the movie.
Yeah. Did you see the post-credit scene though,
No.
where they're all hanging out for Christmas, and then Billy's dad comes down the chimney, and he starts handing out bathroom buddies.
Didn't see that. No, I didn't see that.
You
man.
didn't catch that one?
And she was. And
You can catch it on YouTube, guys. Go search it on YouTube.
She felt awkward. Like
No.
she enjoyed it, or how did that go?
She got over her childhood trauma
In that moment,
in that moment,
and then Billy proposed.
and she felt home, and Billy proposed, and Judge Reinhold went to prison.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good.
This is a great.
This is awesome.
I'm
having fun
actually
yet,
quite
guys?
enjoying. I'm quite enjoying this episode,
all
guys.
right, good. I'm glad.
I mean, but like, I love how ballsy that this scene is, to be honest. I love how ballsy that this, how fucked up this story is to put in a movie like this. And for general audiences, parental guidanced audiences to be able to go see this and have no warning of this scene whatsoever. No matter the violence of the Gremlins and everything, but then like have this happen where it's like, that's how I found out there was no Santa.
And then they're like turning to the parents, being like, "I have many questions. Number one, number two, there's no Santa Claus." Like they're in the middle of Gremlins, just figuring
Yeah.
this shit out.
It's like the scene where in Fight Club, it's like,
That's exactly what it is. A big black cock.
Well, that's yeah. This is PG, and that's a lot of kids. Unfortunately,
Wow.
this is how it was. The news was
Just
broken
that kid crying in Fight Club. That's exactly what that is.
in theaters. Let's go watch a fun movie, and the parents are pissed too because they're like, I didn't plan for this to happen yet.
Yeah.
Man, you're right.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
What do you think about how it all kind of wraps up? Are we feeling good about it?
Cool fight scene.
Yeah.
I like the fight in the shop, and like the practical effects of this too, where you do see them move is just like pure puppetry. But they like don't shine them in bright lights or whatever.
Yeah.
You see them in kind of a darker light or like from half on up or whatever. It is. It's kind of a perfect way to show how the Gremlins can move and show them being anatomical and like they could get you. It's actually very threatening as you're watching it, I think, and also the chainsaw fight is so fucking sick.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love how this all wraps up, and he's in the fountain at this point, and you're just like no. Like it's very
We're right back to
you
where we
feel
started.
that whole
Shit.
tension thing. Yeah, it's really cool.
You're caught in the moment of like, oh, this is gonna get a sequel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and not a good one. But you're right. It does. The chainsaw with the baseball bat is like that's probably one of the best like tension moments of this whole thing. I really like how it feeds into there. But other than that, it's Gizmo just getting the light. It's like, okay, I'm good.
And then Gizmo goes away. Owner shows back up. Oh, man.
Well, yeah.
It has to. You have to have that.
I like that.
It's the Spielberg Amblin E.T.
Yes.
kind of thing where you got to have.
You can't have this.
Look, obviously your town is wrecked. There is one person dead, one thing dead.
Obviously, you're all irresponsible.
Yeah.
Again,
You can't have this. It's E.T. going away. You made a friend.
Yeah.
I don't feel the same way I do like with E.T. with like the friendship or anything, but it's still like, oh, he was so cute.
Yeah, it's more. It was cute.
Oh.
We like to have him around.
Yeah.
Man,
Anytime company comes over, we're like, look.
yeah, we're gonna miss having the cute fuzzy thing
Yeah,
around
yeah.
rather than like, oh, I think they were friends by the end of this. It's like, yeah, sure, I'm sure that they were. It's his statement though is very funny at the end. What does he say? He says something like, You do with Mogwai like you do everything else that nature provides you.
Yeah.
Every other
pretty-
gift
it's
that
pretty
nature
awesome.
gives you, and you're just like, damn.
Whoa.
Mogwai's a
brutal.
gift? Okay, that seems like a tough gift, but
Yeah.
okay, man.
He says goodbye to the dog. He's like, bye, woof, woof.
See,
God damn it.
thank you, Howie Mandel.
So cute.
Man, oh,
Cute
man.
little Gizmo. At the very end, you got the reporter Tom Bergeron's first acting role.
No shit.
As the reporter. That was his first thing he ever did.
Wow.
At the very end. I also had a point. I like to think that maybe John Candy could have played the dad. I like to think that would have been a cool, nice recasting.
Man, that's fun. That's a fun,
Fun thought right there.
for
huh?
sure,
Yeah, I like
for
that.
sure.
All right, boys. Anything else you want to say about Gremlins 1984?
Put
Porn
Jane-
name, Gremlins.
Gremlins.
Oh, Gremlins, yeah, for sure. Jarrett did have a prop. We didn't give him his prop. He had the helmet.
That's good. See, I gave that to you.
You're right. Oh, sorry, Jarrett. Mike gave it to me.
So,
You're up.
Jared, just let us know what you want to use, okay?
The spineless bank manager was his punchable face.
That's a good one.
He gave a confusey to Dick Miller.
Yep.
Let's go.
I like that a lot. I
never
thought that
done
was worth
We
mentioning.
haven't done the Confuses in a while.
We haven't done that in a little bit. I think that was worth mentioning.
Dick
for
Miller
sure.
gets one for being Dick Miller.
Yeah. Other than that, put James Wong in as the.
I thought the same
Chinese
thing.
guy.
Hell yeah.
Well, we have dissected Gremlins with a modern eye. Time to give it a modern day rating. AJ?
Yeah.
I think I started with AJ. What do you think about this one, buddy?
Like I don't hate it. I don't hate the movie, guys, but overall, this is a movie that shows its age. It does it in a way that's not as fun to me, and that maybe because I didn't enjoy it as much nostalgically. And it shows its age, and it becomes pretty drawn out. It's not a short movie.
Yeah, it's not. It's if this was like hour 25, hour 30.
Yeah.
I'd be like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Every single time I'll watch this movie. Yeah, I agree with you.
But I just think that the things that I enjoyed, I wasn't given enough of, and the things that were, like I say, just whelmed, I just think that they were. Because that's honestly the majority of the movie is just whelmed to me,
and it makes sense you saying that. Like if I was reading that in a review, I'd be like, "Fuck you," but you saying that, I'm like, "Yes."
And it's just one of those things, and like I think it has a lot of potential, and I think it has a lot of potential for a Joe Dante like really good. You know, if this was not Joe Dante, I think it was directed by Columbus instead, I think I would enjoy this movie more. Maybe that's the best way I can say it. I think that's about it. So that all being said, nowadays, sure, it's a perfectly fine mix of a good kind of, I don't want to call this movie horror because it's not necessarily horror, but it's kind of got that scary vibe with mixed into a Christmas movie, and that is fun. And I know why it's fun for a lot of people. So that being said, I will give this a 5.85.
Nice.
5.85. Sean, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, I was just kind of taken back. I haven't seen this movie in a long, long time, and I was taken back by the performances, especially, and just how well that it was handled, like kind of the Amblin wise, the Amblin kind of feel that it has. I really enjoy that, and I think Joe Dante, like Spielberg picked Joe Dante specifically to do this movie, and I think it was a right choice. Especially the puppetry is so impressive. As much as we talked about last week, like Ridley Scott doing Black Hawk Down and those battle sequences and everything like that, it's just like, holy hell, that's impressive. I was super impressed by watching this, like having kind of the modern day eye of like watching special features, knowing how things are made. Super impressed by this. I really enjoy it. I think I'll revisit it especially during this Christmas season. I'm gonna go 7.7.
7.7 for myself. Yeah, it was fun to watch this for the first time and actually see it. I had a really fun time with this. Sometimes you go into these movies just like, yeah, it's fucking Gremlins.
All right,
like,
kind of be over it.
Let's get it over with.
Yeah.
We got Black Hawk Down to do as well this week, and I liked it. It was actually more fun than I thought it was more of a comedy with horror elements than a horror movie with comedy elements.
Right.
I thought it was going to be that, but it was more comedy than with a little horror in it. And so that's kind of my style. I'm going to give it a 7.44.
Nice.
I very much enjoyed it. Got to see what Starling says. He says, in every aspect of this movie, Billy seems like a high school kid who has a job at a bank. He's treated like a kid, from the needing a good present to how his parents talk to him. It seems like the only reason they made him an adult was so that he could work with Kate at a bank, and we need her to work at a bar for a scene later. In the heart of this film is Gizmo, an adorable...
Is that what you were saying, AJ?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense.
At the heart of this film is Gizmo, an adorable mogwai who somehow ends up in the hands of Billy, who is a bit clueless like his father. When Pee Wee Herman is inventing better egg crackers and juicers than your dad role model, it's no wonder you broke 3 crucial rules in 48 hours. If there was a 4th rule, mogwai needs lots of oxygen or they will explode like an atomic bomb, Billy would have somehow put a plastic bag around Gizmo's head. What's up with this dog? Why is he here? Is he a Spielberg Nepo casting? A complete waste of a storyline. Damn, Starling. Dude. He's annoying, and then for some reason we need him to take away to Grandma's. Exactly. Mrs. Deagle is supposed to be a villain, but this is the most annoying dog in any movie. I love dogs, but I kind of wanted her cat to fuck him up a little bit.
Oh man.
He shows up at the end of the movie, but why? I thought for sure he might eat a gremlin at least. Do something.
Yeah.
And then there's Billy's mom, who is hands down the MVP of this movie.
Yep.
Imagine walking into a kitchen and seeing what are essentially 3 carnivorous iguanas on their hind legs throwing shit at you. Everyone on this podcast and everyone listening to this podcast would be making a Kool-Aid shaped hole in the wall to get the fuck out of there. And she goes full John Wick with her suburban kitchen as her arsenal.
Fucking nailed it.
Right.
Nailed
Damn
it.
right.
We just talked about Black Hawk Down. Like we're not going there.
Oh no,
No.
I ain't fighting Gremlins.
Nope,
No.
I ain't fighting Gremlins. If this movie were about her, it would have been over in 30 minutes. No laying on the ground, getting bumbling and beaten by sporting equipment for her. She'd have kicked Stripe across the room, then put his chainsaw through his head. I was curious how well the Gremlins special effects would hold up, and overall, I like them. It's a cringe to see them walk down the street after multiplying. That's like the only spot.
It is the
It's the only spot I felt.
what do you call
Like
it?
claymation type.
Stop motion.
Stop motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Joe Dante specifically wanted a stop motion
Yeah.
shot.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But individually, the puppetry overall works for me. I'll take this over CGI any day. Story-wise, you can't ignore the delightful absurdity of the bar scene. Gremlins breakdancing, flashing, and generally behaving less like evil killers and more like Eagles fans on game day. And somehow they can't have water, but they can drink beer. What are they, Irish?
Starling's
He's
killing
Starling.
it.
Just
You're
killing it
on
today.
You're just making my dreams come true, Starling. You're dude. You're great.
Kate feels like she wandered in from a different movie entirely, bringing her depressing backstory to crash the holiday party. Sean, she's pretty useless. She and Billy are gorgeous together, though they look more like brother and sister. If we weren't getting a sex scene out of these two, I would have much rather have replaced her with Gerald. It would have been much more fun to watch frenemies save the day than this love story that went nowhere.
Wow.
Cool.
Interesting.
And while the climactic movie theater explosion should have been satisfying, the plan came together so conveniently it felt like watching someone shuffle through an escape room. Then Dad shows up and doesn't seem nearly as surprised as he should be and asking no questions.
Dude.
We do have the scene loved by kids and adults of cute little Gizmo growing some balls, getting out of the backpack, whizzing around the store in Barbie's Corvette to save the day. Overall, if Gremlins is a Spielberg movie, it seems like he only signed up for the special effects. This movie is that window of the 80s where maybe studios decide that they have to compete with Disney, Ewoks, E.T., Gizmo, and shout out to the Dirt Bike Kid. This feels more of a unique genre I would call kids horror, and I'm not sure how many other movies would fit into this category. If this is a kids movie they tried to make sufferable for parents, or an adult movie with cute Gizmo to keep kids entertained. I'm not sure, but I think there's some editing to do to make me like this a little bit more. There's too many slow and unnecessary plots to make this closer to a 7. So I apologize to 9-year-old me, but it's a 6 for me. So kids, as a group, we are 6.75 on Gremlins. And as a group, if we're going to look at our modern day ratings, a 6.75 takes us all alone to its own spot at 126. That's going to be right below Flight of the Navigator, right above Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay.
Above.
Willy Wonka was a 6.68. We gave that some pretty negative reactions for the 45-minute long intro to get to the Chocolate Factory.
Fair enough. That's
we were
right.
pretty bummed
That's right.
about that. So I'm happy with where that lands. I'm just fine.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm great with that, Starling. You're my hero.
Well-
Thank you so much.
Well, we know this was your new favorite episode. Hope you watched it on YouTube because we did consume some Three Ninjas beers and I'm feeling it.
And
so
they hired us.
they hired us.
Oh, yeah.
Hard.
They
Hope
kicked back.
Yeah,
as you
they
could
did.
say.
I feel like I'm on Mega Mountain.
See,
Man, the references.
we should just stop because
know,
this might be the greatest episode.
Knuckle up.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for being here. Tune in next week. It's full Christmas season. Get rid of the horror. Let's move on to full-blown Christmas. We're hitting the holiday, followed by Home Alone 2. And if you're new to the podcast, go back this time last year to, I will say this by law, I lost the bet. Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and that is the episode we did last year. Give it a listen. It's a really good time.
We surrendered. We surrendered. Give it a listen, guys. It's the holiday season. It's the best time of the year, quite literally. Even if we got to do Gremlins, that's fine. Thank you guys so much for listening. Catch us on YouTube. Watch us in the studio live. This is a great episode to do that if you're doing it for the first time. Catch us and rate us on any podcast platform that you're listening on. Give us that rating, 5 stars. Write us a review or a comment. And by all means, search us out on the social medias at Confused Breakfast. Look for Confused Breakfast anywhere on the socials.
confusedbreakfast.com. You can see our merch. Guys, you want to go and look at our merch store right now. There's some fucking rad stuff up there right now. I guarantee there's no rules that you need to have for these shirts or hats or any items that you want from this store, other than if you wear them for more than 7 days, you should probably wash them. Just because it gets a little stinky.
That's fair.
Okay? But other than that, they're so dope. And then the dopeness won't go away. Confusedbreakfast.com as well to see the ratings of the movies that we've covered. You can see AJ's ratings. You can see Sean's ratings. That's me. You can see Mike's ratings. And the show's ratings overall. This is me right now. This is me as Stripe.
Devious Stripe.
Devious Stripe. That's also the nickname for his underwear.
Yep.
Brian brought these in. He's got a whole deck of these. So.
Speaking of Brian, we got him on the controls here at Upload Media Group in Cedar Rapids. Learn more at uploadmediagroup.com and check out our network, Cloud 10. Learn more at cloud10.fm. That's it for us. Goodbye.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas now.